Hello.
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 Harish?
Hello,
Yes,
Gopal.
yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Yes, Harish?
Yes,
Morning.
ma'am. I'm here. Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Hello. Gopal
Good
here.
morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Good morning. Harish, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you, Mike.
I opened that. I opened that one and I have to press share my.
Gopalakrishnan sir, can you hear us?
Hello.
Sir, can you hear us, sir?
Hello. My voice is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your voice is clear. Yes, sir, it is clear, sir.
Whether I can press share my webcam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
please.
click on start your broadcast.
Harish, I don't have anything on the screen.
Ma'am,
This
they have not
morning I have
started yet,
asked
ma'am.
you.
It didn't
Yeah,
start yet.
fine, okay.
Sir, can you hear us?
Hello. Yes.
Sir, are you
I can
able
see
to
the
share your
screen.
screen? No, we wanted
Yeah.
to see your screen, sir. Can you share your screen?
I'm opening it.
Harish, how do we have to change the presenter, right?
Yeah, I'm doing that, Mike. I'm just doing that.
Yeah, just change the presenter to sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute, sir.
I'm doing it, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, have
Show
you
my
got
screen.
any?
I'm pressing it.
Yes, please press it, sir.
You got my screen?
Yes, sir. We
Wonderful,
got
sir.
your screen.
Wonderful. Yes, sir, we got your screen. Can you open the present? Very nice, sir. Correct. Now just click on, yeah. Perfect, sir.
Now the screen is clear. Presentation
Yes,
is
sir.
clear.
Your voice is clear. Your screen is clear, sir. Can you just change the slide?
Okay. Okay.
Go to the next slide, sir, please. Yes, sir. Perfect. Come back to the first slide, sir. Everything
Clear?
is fine, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I can
Ma'am,
minimize
we
the
need to,
webinar screen.
no, sir. Let it be like this, sir. Again, it might be a challenge. Let's be like this only, sir. Mala ma'am, you just need to acknowledge. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Geeta ma'am is listening. Geeta ma'am, are you there?
Yeah, she has just joined, Mike. She has just
Can you just check? Can you add Geeta ma'am?
she has just joined, Mike. She has just joined. Geeta ma'am has just joined.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
has muted.
Geeta ma'am, can you
She has
just
muted.
acknowledge us? Are you able to hear us?
Hello.
So you're fine, sir.
Uh,
You're absolutely fine, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Mike, Geeta ma'am is muted. I mean, she has muted herself. Yeah,
I'm unmuted.
now she can speak. Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Geeta ma'am. Can you hear us?
Yeah, Harish. Yeah, I'm able to hear.
Yeah.
I'm able to
Wonderful.
hear.
So,
And I can see a slide
very
also on
nice,
this.
ma'am.
Very nice.
Very nice,
Thank you.
ma'am. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
I think
Harish, I'm not able to see the slide, anything, Harish.
Is this Saranya ma'am?
No,
Mala
Mala.
ma'am. Mala ma'am.
Just says connected, go to webinar.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only thing that's displaying here.
Ma'am, are you on the phone or are you on the laptop, ma'am?
No laptop.
Laptop only, right?
I can only see audio. That's it.
Not able to see anything on the screen. you're not able to see anything on the screen?
No. It just says connected. Go to webinar.
Let me just check,
I'm
ma'am.
able to.
Yes. Sorry.
I'm able to see that there's a slide, impact factor H index Google Scholar. Is that what is being displayed on the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great, then both are working for me, or AV, both. Thank you.
Mala, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, just close all the windows, ma'am. Okay. I'm sending you the link again.
Okay.
Just try joining again. You just exit now. I'll just send you the link again. Okay. I'll send the link over email, ma'am. Okay.
Yes.
It was not Mala, ma'am. It was
Yes.
Mala, ma'am. Audio, video, everything is working fine, Harish.
Okay.
It is Gayatri, ma'am.
Gayatri, ma'am, is it?
Okay, everybody has to go on mute, please. Yeah. It is Gayatri, ma'am, not Mala, ma'am.
I'm just checking it.
I would request the panelists, everybody to go on mute, please. Mala, ma'am, Saranya, ma'am, please can you go on mute? Geeta, ma'am.
Sir?
Ma'am, can you please all go on mute, ma'am?
Pardon?
No, ma'am, everybody to go on mute, ma'am, because there's a lot of disturbance. Everybody to go on mute, please.
Volume is high, sir. But your voice is sort of breaking.
Harish,
Yes, ma'am.
can I join the webinar again?
Harish, can you?
Yes, you can join, ma'am. You can join. I've sent a link
Harish, can you
to
hear me, Harish?
Yes, you're audible, Mike. You're audible.
Is there a problem with my audio? Everything is fine, right?
Mike, I'll just do one thing. I'll just mute the panelist for a moment. Okay.
Yeah, please mute it now, Harish.
Yeah.
We can control the panelists. We will unmute them from our side.
Done. I'm muting them.
Except, sir, I think you can mute everybody.
Done, Mike.
Yeah.
We have Mala ma'am, Saranya ma'am, Geeta ma'am as panelists. So I've muted them.
Yeah.
Mike, I hope you don't have any background noise now, right?
No, I don't have anything right now.
Done. Okay.
So I'll let you know when to unmute. You can unmute them.
Done. Sure.
Harish?
Mike, I'm speaking to Mala ma'am. She has some issue
Okay.
with the screen, it seems. Yeah.
Mala ma'am doesn't use the screen. Mala ma'am, only audio has to be there, Harish.
No. For she's not able to see the webinar, this slides, the presenter slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harish, is that sorted?
No, Mike. She, ma'am says that she's able to. Ma'am, just a minute, ma'am. Just a minute. Mike, ma'am says that she's able to speak and hear us, but not able to see on anything on the screen.
Yeah. So what we will do, Harish, is it's another 2 minutes only to start. Quickly, we will
Yeah.
check the audio first for everybody, and then parallelly you can start doing it, because ma'am has to first speak for this one. Okay.
Done.
So can you just unmute everybody? I want to just quickly check the audio.
Sure.
Thank you, Harish.
Mala ma'am, we'll start up the webinar. You start speaking. After that, I'll connect you on the phone and check the slide part. Okay.
No, now I have to get into my Google account.
You're audible on the webinar, ma'am.
Okay, so I can directly talk, no?
Yeah, Mala ma'am, we can hear you, ma'am. This is Mike, we can hear you, ma'am.
So then,
Mala ma'am, can you just confirm? Can you hear us?
yes, I can hear you, Mr. Michael.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Geeta ma'am, can you just speak up? Can you confirm?
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
able to hear me?
able to
Wonderful.
hear you, but I feel that your voice is slightly breaking.
Okay. Gopalakrishnan sir, can you just confirm?
To have
Are
more
you able to
clarity.
hear us?
Need to
Hello.
have more
Yes, I
clarity.
am in.
Yeah.
The Gopal here.
We are able to hear you, sir. Thank you so much for confirming. So I think it's 11:30. We can just wait for another. First of all, thank you everybody who have joined this webinar. I would request everybody to just have a little more patience, because I could still see there are many of them in the webinar.
Excuse me? Does not.
So we're going to start the webinar.
Oh, there's not much clarity in your voice. Your voice is breaking.
2 minutes. So I would request you all to have a little more patience.
Hello?
Hello, ma'am. Harish. Yeah.
Harish?
Yeah.
There's
Yes,
no.
yes, Geeta, ma'am.
When you speak, it's very clear,
Ma'am,
but
saying my voice is breaking.
now your voice is very clear. Harish, your voice is very clear now. But sometime back, it was actually sort of breaking. There's no, I couldn't make out what exactly they were talking. Now
Okay.
it's clear. Now your voice is clear.
Okay,
So,
ma'am,
Harish,
it
are
was
you able to hear
Michael
my
who
voice,
was.
Harish?
Yes, now I'm able to hear you, Mike. It was, I mean, there was a little disturbance, but now it's clear, Mike.
Now it is absolutely clear. So can we start the
Yes,
webinar,
yes.
please?
Yeah, we can.
Harish, can you put the panelist on mute?
Yeah, sure. I'm doing it.
Just I'll tell you when you have to. You can unmute Mala ma'am. That's it.
Yeah, she's unmuted.
Yeah, I'm
Except for,
here.
All right. Yes, ma'am. So let's start the webinar, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Mr. Michael. A very warm welcome.
Good morning. Please, ma'am.
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, a very warm welcome to the participants from the academic fraternity and other invitees to the webinar on impact factor, H index, and Google Scholar, jointly organized by the Department of Commerce, Ethraj College for Women, and our academic partners, Miles Education and Wiley. I, Dr. Mala Devidas from the Department of Commerce, take this opportunity to introduce a resource person to all. Dr. S Gopalakrishnan worked as an assistant librarian in the MIT Library campus of Anna University since 1975. During his tenure of 38 years, he assisted in developing a digital knowledge resource center at the campus. He was also instrumental in implementing Koha open source LMS package, not only at MIT, but in 31 district libraries and Connemara Public Library on a network
I'll just call you
environment.
back. I'll just finish this webinar and call you back, okay?
As a researcher, he has more than 230 publications in national and international journals and conferences. To date, he has the credit of guiding 74 MPhil and 22 PhD candidates. An enthusiastic teacher, he has authored 3 books, edited 10 volumes, and 4 e-resources for the benefit of students. Dr. Gopalakrishnan's achievements are noteworthy. He was honored with the Fest Schrift volume for his involvement in professional research and academic activities published by BR Publishing Corporation, and is a recipient of the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Lifetime Achievement in Library and Information Science Research Award in 2015. With these few words, I now invite Dr. S. Gopalakrishnan to share his knowledge and expertise with us. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, I invite Ms. Dr. S. Gopalakrishnan to take over the session.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for your nice introduction. I'm really grateful to the organizers for giving me an opportunity for sharing my knowledge on impact factor, H index, and Google Scholar. Many of you may be knowing more than what I know. Just I'm sharing whatever I know. I think I can go to the topic. Harish, can you confirm whether I can proceed?
Yes, please. Yes,
I'm
sir.
approaching the topic. I'm approaching the topic in the method of why, what, and how. Even if you are asking a small boy to jump, today he poses a question: why I have to jump? What is the reason? How much height? All these things. Similarly, I'm looking these 3 things: impact factor, H index, and Google Scholar. Why, what, and how. Now, the need for impact factor, the need for accountability in higher education has led governments, research authorities, and university administrators to access a research performance using a single index or simple index that allow comparison and ranking. When scientists seek research grants, apply for tenure or promotion, or apply for staff or faculty position, it has become customary to include both the impact factor scores of the journals in which the paper were published and the number of citations received by this article. With the presumption that as high impact journals usually attract high quality contributions from top scientists and have a large readership. Publishing in these journals is a top priority for scientists who want to increase their visibility, prestige, influence among their peers. It also improves their chances of getting lucrative jobs, offers, and research grants. Now let us go, what is impact factor? The impact factor of a journal in a particular year is the number of citations received in the current year to the articles published in the 2 preceding years divided by number of articles published in the same 2 years. For example, physical review letters as a 2005 impact factor is 7.489, which means that an average each of its 2003 and 2004 articles are cited 7.489 times in 2005. Let us go a little bit depth on this. We are seeing the method of calculation of impact factor. Let us take that impact factor of a journal for 2019 works out to 7.489 is the assumption. The impact factor calculated based on the citations of 217 and 2018 articles. Let us assume that the journals has 12 issues per year and each issue carries 10 articles only. Let us assume that each journal has 12 issues per year and each issue carry 10 articles only. Therefore, naturally, the 2 years, the total article may be 240. In the 2019 journal must have at least 1,798 references pertaining to the articles of 2017 and 18. Then only the impact factor can have 7.489. The formula that we are using it, impact factor 2019 equal to citations of 2017, 18 in 2019 divided by the number of articles in 2017 and 2018. It indicates that the impact factor is not a constant. It varies from years to year. So naturally, the impact factor will go on rising. Naturally, we intend to raise the impact factor even if you are publishing a journal. For this, we will take an example of a Nature journal. I hope so everybody knows about Nature. Has had an impact factor of 41.577 in 2017. How they calculated, it's shown this. If impact factor 2017 equal to citation 2016 plus citation 2015 divided by publication 2016 plus publication 2015, and the data it is taken and assume that the citation 32,389, 41,000 adding, similarly number of articles adding and dividing it, it comes to 41.577. I'm also comparing the impact factor for the past 4 years of the Nature journal. In the year 2015, the impact factor is 38.138. In the year 2016, it is 40.137. 2017, 41.577. 2018, 43.07. This means that an average of its papers published in 2015 and 2018 received roughly 42 citations each in 2017. You can see the growth of the impact factor of a Nature journal. Let us take another 2 examples. We know very well the a cancer journal for clinicians is a high impact factor. The impact factor is a 206.85. H index is 144. It is ranked as the first journal in the medical science, and SJR is another ranking which provides 72.57. The impact factor of this journal in the year 2014 is 96.16. In the year 2015, 98.82. In the year 2016, 138.36. Similarly, if you look into 2018, 206.85. So 2019 is coming soon. That means I can have the impact factor of a year after completion of 2 years. 2019, yet we have to receive the impact factor for certain journals, for most of the journals. And 2020 means it will be more than that. Therefore, we are having the impact factor of 2018. Similarly, Quarterly Journal of Economics, Here, the impact factor is 12.81. H index is 228. You can compare the H index of these two journals. H index is 144 in the case of CA journal, whereas H index is 228. Regarding that, we'll discuss later on. And similarly, in the case of a quarterly journal of economics, you can find that for 2019, it is coming. And the starting in the 2014 is 8.28, and it get reduced in 2015, 8.1. Similar, now it is 12.1. If I am a researcher and if I am publishing an article, naturally I will look for publishing the article in a high impact factor, so that this article get visibility among the other scientists or among my peer group. This how to find out the impact factor. Journal impact factor was launched by the Institute for Scientific Information, ISI, in 1975, and has been published annually since then. Initially, the impact factor was made available in microfiche format only. Then ISI migrated it to CD-ROM in the late 80s, before finally making a searchable version of it available in the web in 1997. Currently, the ISI provides impact factor data for over 5,900 journals in science and technology and 1,700 journals in the social science through the publication of journal citation report. The impact factor always lag 1 year behind and are published each summer. If you want to know the impact factor of a journal, you can find a URL below in this site, below that one. This is the impact factor of a cancer taken from this URL. The URL www.researchimpactfactory.com. All ranking details to php.id is a 1. That is the first rank of this, and this is at a 4th rank that I have taken from that website. Now, let us see the impact factor, how it, what is the need, why it has to be it is a unit of assessment, it is a purpose of assessment, it is an output dimension to be considered. Unit of assessment is naturally country or institution or research group or individual or research field or an international network. Purpose of the assessment, it is allocating of research funding to improve the performance or to increase regional engagements. Output dimensions, scholarly impact, innovation, social benefit, or sustainability. Therefore, the impact factor, the three different types of research profile looking for. One is a unit of assessment, another one is a purpose of assessment, other one is a output dimension to be considered. Now, the matrix distinguishes 4 assessment methodology. One is a peer review, which provides a judgment based on the expert knowledge, end user review, such as customer satisfaction, quantitative indicators, including bibliometrics, and other types of measures, and self-evaluation. For example, even if I am stating that I am published so much of article, naturally in the panel of members, they will ask, which paper will you like to say that it is a good in your publications? So I must be in a position to spell out the reason, and I also substantiate with the reasons that I have selected that. Okay, so naturally, I hope so. Tomorrow there will be another dimension that the article that you have published, the impact factor for last 5 years, and what is the impact factor that why you are publishing the article on that journal. That also to become a matter for evaluation or end user reviews. Now we can have the unit of assessment. We have identified the units of assessment. For that, we are looking into 4 things. One is a purpose, output dimension, bibliometric indicators, and other indicators. Unit of assessment, if an individual, probably for allocating the resources, or a research productivity, or publications, or peer review. Research group, the purpose is improving the performance, quality scholarly impact, journal citation impact, patent licenses, and other things. Departments, increase regional engagements, innovation and social benefit, actual citation impact, invitations for conferences. In the case of institution, It stimulates international collaboration, sustainability and scale, international co-authorship, external research income. Research field, promotion, hiring, research infrastructure, citation prestige, PhD completion rates. These indicators, we can have 3 generations. In the case of first generation, basic indicators relatively easy to obtain from sources that have been available for decades. Number of publications, number of citations, journal impact metrics. Second, relative or normalized indicators correcting for particular bias, difference in citations, practices between. You can find relatives of relative or field normalization, normalized citation rates. Third one is based on advanced network analysis using parameters such as a network centrality, influence weight, SCI, MAGO, journal ranking, prestige indicators like this. Hello, Hari.
Yes, sir.
I cannot. My screen is folded because of viewing the others are viewing my. Or you are using my webcam, I think so.
Sir,
Yes,
You're
now
not
it
able
is
to
started
use
moving.
Sir, please.
Now it is clear.
Yes, it's
Now
clear,
it is
sir.
Can
clear.
you just
This impact factor.
sir, can you switch off
Clear,
the
sir. Please
camera,
go
sir?
ahead.
Because
Hello. There are 3 generation indicators. Already we have discussed. Now we are moving to the pathways. Impact factor we can have scientific impact factor, societal impact factor, economic impact factor. The scientific impact factor normally for world-class excellence, strengthening human capital, open science. Societal impact factor addressing the global challenges, achieving their research and investment missions, engaging the citizens. The third societal is supporting policy making. Economic impact factor, economic growth, jobs and investment. The measurement for these impact factors, if suppose for scientific impact factor, we used to have a short term, medium term, long term. Similarly, for everything, there will be a short term, medium term, long term measurements. Let us compare the scientific impact factor with the pathways on short term, medium term, and long term. World-class excellence, number of framework programs publications, number of top-cited framework programs publications, contributions to promising topics and fields. In the case of strengthening the human capital, number of researchers participating by gender, age, position type, contract, etc. In the case of medium term, visibility and impact in the field. Long term, career advancement due to faculty framework program publication, participation. Open science, share of FP output as open access output cited, use of open access data. Societal impact factor, addressing the global challenges is a pathway. Number and share of outputs aimed at addressing specific clustered challenges and sustainable development goals. In the case of medium term, number and share of innovations and scientific results addressing the specific clustered challenges. The effect on the use of faculty fieldwork programs, funding scientific results and innovation on tackling specific cluster challenges, achieving R&I missions, output in specific R&I missions, results in specific R&I missions, target achieved. Engaging the citizens, number and share of projects where citizens contribute to the co-creation of R&I contents. Number and share of FP programs, beneficiary entities, developing citizen, engagement mechanism for R&I behind FP projects. Uptake of FP scientific results and innovative solutions by citizens. Supporting policy making, FP projects producing policy relevant findings, FP policy relevant funding funding reaching policy makers, policy document citing. Economic impact factor, economic growth, number of innovative products by type of innovations, IP applications, that is innovative products applications, number of companies supported, turnover growth, jobs, number of jobs created or maintained in the beneficiary entities for the FP projects, increased jobs in beneficiary entities, number of direct and indirect jobs created or maintained due to diffusion of FP. Okay. Investment, amount of public and private investment mobilized with the initial FP, amount of public and private investment mobilized to exploit or scale up FP. Normally, progress expected towards 3 to 5% of GDP target due to this FP. So impact factor, it has so much of a use of that. Now we are seeing about the articles. Articles are increasingly joined by sharing of raw science like datasets, codes, and experimental designs. Semantic publications or nano publication where the citable unit is an argument or passage rather than entire article. Widespread self-publishing via blogging, microblogging, and comments or annotations on existing work. Now we are moving to other part of a topic, that is the H-index. H-index. In 2005, the US condensed matter physicist Irish devised a simple metric with which to quantify the scientific output of an individual. So for my articles, I can identify what is my H-index. A scientist has an H-index of 10, says if he or she has published 10 papers that have received at least 10 citations each. For the time being, it may not be clear. Let us go by examples. It may be somewhat, I think I can capable of clarifying it. To compute your own H-index, you must first identify all the relevant records in a citation database in which you are an author, and then automatically or manually, if you use Google Scholar, sort the records by the number of times they have been cited, with the most cited list first. To calculate H, all you then have to do is count down until the number of records equal to or is no longer greater than the number of times cited. Although originally meant for quantifying the impact and the quality of the individual scientist research output, the H-index has been successfully applied to journals, research projects, and entire research groups too. So why we are having a H-index? H-index is to identify the individual contributions and also quantify the impact and quality of the individual scientist. There is a reason why we are having it. Let us see how to identify the method of finding H-index. Method of finding the H-index. Assume that a person has published 21 papers. You can find on the left side of the screen there is a number of papers and the citation. Normally, if I'm publishing my first paper, it may not get any citation. I hope so we are clear on references and citation. For example, if I'm writing an article, I will show few references, maybe 10 or 20, whatever it may be. I am referring another person's article. That person gets one citation, whereas mine is I'm providing 30 references. That means 30 persons will have 30 citations. 30% get one citation for each. Likewise, the papers, number of papers and my citation. My first paper does not have any citation, 0. Second paper also 0. Third paper 4. Fourth paper 32 citation. I am proud that my fourth paper is referred by cited by 32 persons. Fifth article, I am proud that my paper is referred by 31 persons. Sixth article 30. Likewise, I am having 21 articles. What I am doing is the papers are arranged and based on the citation. Highest citation first, lowest. Likewise, I am arranging it. I am comparing the number of papers and the number of citations. If it is equal, it is an H index. Here you can find that 10 papers getting 10 citation more. That means my first 10 papers are as a impact factor. That means it has an impact on the contributions. Of course, 11, 12, 13, 14 also having a citation. 9, 7, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, like that. The total citation is entirely different. 2 of my papers, 3 of my papers do not have any citations. But the calculation of H index is based on the number of papers and the citations are equal. Naturally, the question arises, if my citation is not matching that, what will be? Maybe higher or lower, that also we'll see a little bit later on. We will see what are the other things too on that one. I'm taking 3% citations. Citation A, citation B, citation C. Instead of that, we can have also as person A, person B, and person C. First person contributed 21 articles. Second person contributed 4 articles. Third person contributed 9 articles. So the first person can have a maximum of H index as a 21, assuming that all his papers are highly cited. In the case of a second person, he can have, even though the citation is more, he can have a H index not more than that 4, since he has published only 4 papers. In the case of citation C, he can have a maximum of 9 citations alone. That means the H index is directly related to the number of publications that you are providing it and also the number of citations it receives. So if a person having an age of 30, having a citation of 33 or so, H index is 33, even on the age of 60, his H index is 3. 33. It not get reduced. Here, the 4 persons having a highest citation, that means his papers are highly appreciated, but the person can get H index only 4. Okay, how to overcome this? That we will see a little bit later on. Now, how to calculate H index? Again, we are seeing that there are so many 10 papers. Again, we can find 7 persons citations. First person 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, and the H index is 10. Similarly, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here, all the persons are having H index of 10. Now, how to identify which paper is good about that among these? That leads to another question. So the H index, even though everybody is having 10, all the faculty members, those are having H. Out of that, which person's paper is highly referred? That also to matter. Therefore, it necessitates to go for other indexes. So let us see. Here, I'm having that 8 authors, articles, and also I'm comparing this. First author, first paper is cited 100 times, 28, 25, 7, 7, 7, 7 like this, and its total citation is 200. Now I'm identifying the what is the H index of the first person, author 1. I can see that the 7 articles are getting 7 citations. Is a matching it. Okay. Similarly, in the case of second author, that is, it's shown in a brown color. First person's citation is 7. So sorry, H index is 7. Similarly, let us take the second person. Second person's H index is 10. Third person index is 5. The 6 is a little bit, 6 and 7. I'm taking the higher side. 5 is the H index. That's a methodology normally adopted. Okay. Similarly, in the case of author 4, H index is 3. Author 5, 5, 5. Author 4, author 7, 4. Author 8, 5. Now, we can compare that H index made me to individualize it. Out of this, there are 3 persons who are getting H indexes of 5. Out of these 3 persons, whose performances, whose publication is a little bit higher. Now, I am taking that, the articles published. All the persons are published few articles. Okay, and citations. I can have a many citations. I can have a many citations. That means all his papers got cited. All his papers got cited. Here, all his papers not got cited. Only 4 papers are not cited in the case of author 7. In the case of author 8, again, the citation is less. So I'm making another thing, citations, many, few. Citation distribution. Distributions are closely distributed. That means 3 papers alone have highest, widely distributed, closely distributed. I hope so. You can differentiate the citations are closely distributed, widely distributed, another one. Another one is H core. H core is my H index papers. How many papers a person got? What is the H index of that person? What are the total citations of that H index papers? That means in the case of first person, all these 7 article citation alone taken into account. Out of the 200 is 81 citations are on the 7 papers. Likewise, we can individualize it. Okay, let us proceed a little bit depth on this. This paved way for various indices. Standard bibliometric indicators such as the number of publications during the study period, number of citations during the study period, and average citation per paper, CPP, have a number of limitations. The H index, G index describe the most productive core of the output of researchers and inform about the number of papers in the core. The H index, also known as a Hirsch index, is supposed to measure the broad impact of the individual scientist and to avoid all the disadvantages. Online databases such as Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholars provides the H index. No need for me to calculate. I can go for Google Scholar. I can find out what is my H index that we will discuss later on. Other indexes such as A index depict the impact of the papers in the core. These are essentially necessary to identify what are the different types of indexes. We can have H index, G index, A index, normalized H index, R index, AR index, E index, HG index, P index, I10 index, W index, HW index, W index. All these are essentially to be known. Not necessary, I can calculate. H core citation already we know. It is the total number of citation the H index paper received. H5 index is next 5 years. All this depend upon the H factor up to the instead of last 2, richness index and reach index. All the indexes are depend upon the H index or some other factors related to H index. Therefore, the other 2 indexes started coming up. That also we will see little bit later on. For each one, there is a formula. The development of various indexes over the years can be seen that. One is H index in 2005, G index 2006. These 2 are a methodology that we have discussed. The G index, we will discuss that. A index is the total number of citation of H index papers divided by H. Normalized H index, that is a formula. All this H indicates that it is a H index. You can find all the formulas are related to the word H. Okay, except R and AR index. Therefore, remaining indexes are dependent upon the H index, one way or rather. Okay, whereas the R index and the AR index is not related to H index. Now, it does not have any impact. H index does not have any impact on these 2 things. Okay, now we'll go for method of calculating G index. The H index already we know it is developed in the year 2005. We have seen what are the limitations. Therefore, the another person devised G index. G index is here the paper and cited by is given in our first two columns. The papers are squared in the second column, for third column. In the fourth column, the cumulative index is created. Cumulative citations. I can say cumulative citations. That means 35 in the first paper, 34. It is provided total as a 69. Third paper 69 plus 33, 102. Likewise, it is going on. The papers are squared. There I can find as like that of comparing the H index. Here also I'm making a comparison. The comparison is 18 papers have matching 324 and 322. That means the G index is number of papers. Number of papers. There is another table, sorry, which indicates H index, G index, number of papers, citation, P index, HG index, all these things. H index 10, G index is 18. Number of papers, you can have a 21. Total citations, you can find something 322. And I'm having a P index, HG index. So you can find the difference of H index. Sorry, other indexes over H index. So I can say G index must be greater than H index. Naturally, it may be. Similarly, P index, HG, all the other indexes more than that. Now, various indexes calculated values are shown for the year 7 things. The 7 authors paper that we have seen previously. You can find that H course citation and other things. You can find out which one is good by making use of this. I hope so. You can find the person D as somewhat impressive performance on their publications. It is followed by, you can say that A or B or E or F like that. I'm having H index, G index, A index, R index, and how to calculate A index, G, R index. I already provided the formula and other things. Besides that, there are other metrics for calculating it. One is a journal metrics. Journal metrics is to measure the quality or standard of journals. The foremost journal matrix is impact factor, what we have seen. Highly dependent on the academic discipline, possibly on the speed with which papers get cited in the field. Was introduced in the year 1975 by Eugene Garfield for those journals indexed in Journal Citation Report. The other metrics used to measure the quality of journals are immediacy index, cited off-life, aggregated impact factor, agent factor scores, article influence score, H5 index. H5 index is H index for last 5 years publication. That means if I want to find out what is the H index of this year, 2020, I will take 5 years. That is 2016 to 2015 to 2020. They are SJR indicator. It is provided globally. SNIP also provided. This is for journal of metrics. I can have author metrics. Author metrics is it measures the research impact of scholarly publications by respect to authors. The major author metrics parameters were citations, the number of times cited in a literature, usage, number of times viewed on a website, number of times downloaded, how often the supplemental data has been accessed, capture, how often it has been bookmarked, shared. Okay, manly, site you like that. Mentions, number of times blogged about, how many news stories, mentions in Wikipedia, etc. Comments on publishers' website and elsewhere. Social media, Facebook, share, likes, LinkedIn, shares, tweets. H index, a scientist has H index of H of his NP papers have at least H citation. Number of papers, NP papers, number of papers have at least H citation each, and others NPH papers have no more than H citation each. That means if I'm having H index, my other papers will have a less than that H index citation. G index, given that a set of articles ranked in the descending order and the number of citations that they have received, G index is a unique largest number such as the top 3 articles received together at least G squared citations. I-10 index, I-10 index indicates that number of academic publication an author has written that have at least 10 citations from others. If I'm writing 12 papers which has more than 10 citations, my I-10 index is 12. H-score. The H-score of a publication is a set of top cited H articles from the publication. H-median. H-median of the publication is the median of the citation content in its H-score. H5 index, H5 core, H5 median. These indicators of publication are respectively the H index, H core, and H median of only those of its articles that were published in the last 5 completed calendar years. After that, we can have article level metrics. Article level metrics are metrics for measuring the usage and impact of individual research articles. Article level metrics, unlike journals or author metrics, did not focus on journals or authors, but on the individual articles. This is related to, but distinct from, alt metrics. The open access publisher, PLOS, provides article level metrics for all its journals, including download citations and altmetrics. Altmetrics. The term altmetrics was proposed in 2010 as a generalization of article level metrics. Although the altmetrics are often thought of as metrics about articles, they can also apply to people, journals, books, datasets, presentations, videos, source code, repositories, web page, etc. They are related to webometrics, which had similar goals but evolved before the social web. Altmetrics, the definitions are given, a record of attention. Number of people have been exposed to and engaged with a scholarly output, mentioned in the news, blogs, and on Twitter, article page views and the downloads. There is a hub repository, watches. A measure of dissemination enables to understand where and why a piece of research is being discussed and shared, both among other scholars and in the public sphere. Coverage in the news, social sharing, blog features, and indicators of influence on impact. It signals that a research is changing a field of study, the public health, or having any other number of tangible effects upon large society. References in public policy documents, commentary from experts and practitioners. Even if I am sending a WhatsApp or some in Twitter or anything else, I am expecting for how many of them are liking it, how much of them I'm getting reply. All this is an impact. For example, already I told you that if your paper is cited by somebody, you feel enjoyed. You will find that my paper is cited by this person. And that person may be a big person. You say that he has appreciated my paper. This is the impact of your citations. Altmetrics, there are advantages, there are disadvantages. Advantages are they are quicker to accumulate than citation-based metrics. They can capture more diverse impact than citation-based metrics. They apply to more than journal articles and books. Limitations, it does not provide full dimension of research. It is not a replacement for peer review and a citation-based metrics. Here, I have provided not yet twice. That means the stress, it is not a replacement for peer review citation-based metrics. For example, we used to say, yes, I know there's a time that I have to log in like that. Like any metrics, there is a potential for gaming of altmetrics. Altmetrics are relatively new, more research into this is needed. There are tools for altmetrics, impact story, reader meter, science card, PLOS impact explorer, paper critic, crowdometer. There are online indicators. The use of bibliometric indicators, academic decision making, funding, accreditation, tenure, promotion, or recruitment has produced some negative as well as some effect. Science policy makers made an attempt to endorse bibliometric indicators to simplify the hard work of evaluating the performance. The values of this approach is currently being debated, with guidelines being proposed about the type of indicators that would be useful in different contexts. These are the views of the person. Wilson stated the last view, the value of this approach. Online academic profiles such as Amner, Microsoft, Academic Search, Google Scholar, Citation, Research ID, or online academic profiles. Academic social networks like Mendeley, academy.edu, ResearchGate became an accepted part of academic landscape. I hope so many of you may be familiar with all these things. Some provides a range of metrics for both authors and articles. And assuming that these metrics are used, it is important to understand their three key properties. All this, already I told you the impact of H index in other formulas. There necessitates a need for new devices. There was usually more than one author for each publication. The citation may have from any one of the authors. So if you are a first author and you are a popular person be another author, the citation may be because of the second author or because of your contribution. So it is very difficult to classify because of which person the citation has been obtained. If I'm writing an article, naturally I will look into the pioneers in that field and quote those persons. My paper gets citation only because of the pioneers, not because of my contributions. Okay, author may use a different analysis tool and techniques for their analysis. These tools and techniques may be an impact of fetching the citations. The tools and techniques may be an impact of it. The author may use a different analysis tools and techniques for that analysis. These tools and techniques may have an impact of fetching the citation. The publication may be published in a journal which has high impact factor. So 25% of the most highly cited articles can account for 90% of journal impact factor. So I will look into the impact factor of a journal and I will cite that paper. You can find that this thing is the impact is quoted in this article Nature in 2002 itself. The references may be included for the sake of inclusion for current publications. The references may be included for the sake of inclusion for current publication. As soon as my gate says, while I'm providing a draft paper, please include some references. Naturally, I will include the references. It might not have been used by me, but because of coercion, I am including that. Not coercion, naturally the research papers are expected to have references. Currently, the databases that includes the publications such as Scopus, IEEE, ProQuest, EBSCO, etc. has also impact on citation. Organization in which the author belongs to also influences the citation. Organization in which the author belongs to also influences the citation. Suppose if I am publishing a paper, my paper might have been got cited because of an university. Likewise, IIT authors paper naturally maybe get cited. So the citation maybe. I'm not it is an example for stating that the citation is based on the organization too. This necessitates as myself and a librarian of Gandhigram Rural University designed a few formulas. One is a research percentage, research activity index. Here we are taking the total citations into cover, number of reached by total publications in all institutions, total publication of all the institutions. For institution, for individual author, other things. Unreached and reach activity index. Unreached activity index. My papers are not reached. I'm identifying what is the reason for that. Then again, one is richness factor index. My paper got a richness factor means I'm calculating that richness factor. There are 4 formulas for richness and 4 formulas for this. It has a somewhat measurable for identifying the index of this. The comparison of these indexes with other index. Various indexes, it is based on citation alone. RF index is based on citation, age of the paper, and number of authors. For example, if I might have been published a paper in 1945 and that paper gets cited till date, it means that paper is a base paper. Okay, it may not be on all the domains. For example, in the case of medical domain, the age of paper is matters. If a paper on a particular thing, activity or particular thing, that may be useful, but the age of the paper matters, whereas RF index provides some age of the paper. Calculation based on one variable. In the case of various indexes, calculation was based on several variables, such as there are so many things that we'll see that. Citation and cited papers alone taken into consideration. That's only partial paper and partial citations alone. That means in the H index, I'm identifying only H papers are got cited, H number of citations. Besides, other citations are ignored. Uncited papers are not considered at all. That means if a person provided 230 papers and is 20 papers alone cited, the remaining papers, uncited papers, what is the reason why it has? That type of evaluation may not be there in the case of indexes. It considered as well, in the case of RF index, it considered total citation and uncited papers also into consideration. Total papers published were not considered, total published papers were considered. We have seen one example, 21 papers, out of which 4 papers are not at all received any citation. While carrying out this RF index, we are taking into account that papers too, finding out the impact of the author. Index values were of increasing nature, index values are getting increased or decreased. Number of co-authors are not considered, number of co-authors also considered. Position of the co-author does not matter, position of the co-author matters. Suppose if a pioneer is a first author, his paper will get cited more. If the pioneer is a fourth author, fifth author, it may not be having that much of weightage. Here, in the case of various matrices, equal weightage were given for all authors. Whereas in the case of index, RF index, no equal weightage given for author. That means author position is taken into account. First author, second author. If I'm published as a fifth author paper, I am given weightage as a lowest thing. One is highest and the other thing. Once high index value is obtained, it will not get reduced and will be everlasting in the case of various indexes. Already stated that if a person got H index of 33 in the age of 30 itself, is H index even at the age of 60, it may be 33. It can't get reduced. Okay. Whereas in the case of our index, the index value depends on number of authors, age of a paper, number of co-authors. Continuous effort may not necessary in the case of variant index. Once I've got a H index of 33, no need for me to publish the papers at all. I can say that I'm having a H index. No need for me to bother about how to provide the publication in a rich journals. Whereas in the case of RF index, a continuous effort is mandatory to retain the value. I have not described how the richness factor and research factors are calculated. That the reason is we are concentrating more on H index and other things. Factors, richness factors and citation factors. The richness factors, age of the paper is considered, the citation rank not considered, other things. Citation considered, number of authors considered and not considered. Therefore, in the richness factor, age of the paper, citation, number of authors are considered, whereas others are not considered. If there are so much of indexes, how I can calculate manually? For that, we have a one Excel sheet. Myself and the librarian of NIFT, National Institute of Fashion Technology, namesake, developed an Excel model stating that if I am providing the H index, G index, number of papers, and number of citations, automatically it calculates all other indexes. What are the things that I have listed? There is a model developed, and it will be enable you to calculate all the indexes. If time permits, I will show you that model also, and at the end of the session. So the calculation of H and other indexes does not, it's not a matter at all. You can have a Excel sheet and you provide H index, G index. The thing is H index and G index, no other alternative. We have to provide only manually as far as my knowledge goes. The number of papers and the total number of citations, I know there are I have to find out that. How to find out that? Also there are databases. Google Scholar provides everything. That also we'll see that one. Therefore, it is essential that we must have a knowledge about all the indexes. For this, let us see one incident. Once, a teacher of 5th standard asked to develop a program for simple interest for all his students. All the students state that the program is running fine. The algorithm is correct. The program is executing it. The teacher wants to test whether the programming is providing exactly the result. So they called the first person and asked to run the program. So a simple interest formula. Therefore, he provided the data. 1,000 rupees, 10%, 1 year. That person's program shows 1 rupee as an interest. Whether the program is correct. So even the program runs, we must be in a position to check. Even my Excel sheet provides the H index and other things, other G index or other indexes as A index or index. I must be in a position to find out whether the output is correct or not. Out of the 10% checked by the teacher, only 1% program provided exactly the interest, simple interest for the 1,000 rupees, 10 years, 1 year. That means all the programs are running fine, but it has a limitations. These are the major things. Now, I'm going to the Google Scholar, the third concept. The Google Scholar provides a simple way to broadly search for scholarly literature. There's a reason why we are using that. From one place, you can reach scores, many disciplines and sources, articles, these theses, books, abstract and quote opinions from academic publishers, professional societies, online repositories, universities, and other websites. Google is it has a great impact. Whenever I'm going for a search engine, we will prefer Google. Out of the Google Scholar is one component. Google Scholar helps you to find relevant work across the world of scholarly research. Instead of providing text matters, I'm going by how to make use of the Google Scholar. So if you go to the Google, and that if you are providing a Google Scholar, you can find the first thing as a Google Scholar. If you click that, you can get a home page like this, what you are seeing on the screen. In that, type your name. I'm typing my name, Gopalakrishnan. Immediately, I can find a number of articles. There you can find a user profile as this. All these articles are not mine. So what I'm doing I'm clicking my profile. I'm clicking my profile in the screen. So it may be clear. My profile. Okay, the articles that are listed, it's not mine. I'm clicking my profile. Automatically, I will get my mail information. I'm clicking my mail information, googlelong@gmail.com. Immediately, I will get a screen like this. Okay, my name and my name, the other things you have to provide. My photo is there, my name will be there, the designation and other things you have to provide that. I can find all my articles below this, and I can find my H index. How many citations? My citation 418 citations. My H index is 10. Since 2015, my H index is 8. I-10 index is 12, 6. My citations after this 2013, I got this. I'm proud to say that my papers are still referred. It may be because of me or maybe because of my co-authors. One impressive thing is, even if I got retired in the year 2013, I can find my papers are still referred. That means it indicates worthiness of the paper. Again, it may be due to the co-author or due to the paper in which it appears in the journal. For example, the first article, Mapping of Nanoscience and Nanotechnology Research India, India, a scientometric analysis for nearly, I think 10 plus 9, 19 years. This is authored by 4 persons, and there may be any one other 4 persons, or the journal is published in Scientometrics. That may be an impact. Okay. The next one is ICT Skills. Is a paper published in an Indian journal, which has a 52. The year of publication, 2011, first paper. Second paper, 2007. I can find this. So no need for you to bother about how to calculate H index. If any of the paper is not yours, if you can tick this box, and if you are asked to remove that one, automatically you can find your H index is calculated accordingly. If you have the facility of using Google, go to the Google Scholar, provide your name, you can find so many things. You provide my profile, immediately ask for mail, and you can find all your papers. All your papers. If any of the paper is not yours, if you ask to delete that, you can find a graph indicating the citations of the last 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, and you can find citations. Probably the citation may be only from 2013 or 2014. Okay, this again you can find H index, other things. I hope so. Now you are capable of identifying what is your H index, what is your item index, and how to find out using a Google Scholar. Likewise, there are other things. The Google maybe have a limitation that the coverage may be little bit, okay, less or maybe more. Similarly, the Archad and other things also provide. ResearchGate is also providing this type of information. So Google Scholar is a freely accessible web search engine that indexes the full text or metadata of scholarly literature across an array of publishing formats and disciplines. Released in beta in November 2000, beta version November 2004, the Google Scholar Index includes most peer-reviewed online academic journals. Google Scholar Index includes most peer-reviewed online academic journals and books, conference papers, thesis, and dissertation, preprints, abstracts, technical reports, and other scholarly literature, including court opinion and patents. While Google does not publish any size of the Google Scholars database, scientometric researchers established it to contain roughly 389 million documents, including articles, citations, patents, making it the world's largest academic search engine in January 2018. If I want to find out who are the persons cited my papers, I can identify that. If 101, a previous screen, you can find that 107 papers cited. I can find out who are the persons cited my papers by this. So Google Scholar provides. Normally, if I'm doing it manually, it is very difficult for us to find out who are the persons cited. Now, of course, there are other sites that provide which country your paper has been cited, which part of the country, how much it is cited, how much it is downloaded. All these details are provided in the web itself. So the Google, let us go to the history of the Google. Google Scholar arose out of a discussion between two persons, both of whom were then working on building Google's main web index. You can find the second person name, Anuragacharya. This goal was to make the world problem solver 10% more efficient by allowing easier and more accurate access to scientific knowledge. This goal is reflected in the Google Scholar advertising slogan, stand on the shoulders of giants. taken from a quote by Holy Bernard of Chartres, and it is not to the scholars who have contributed to their field over the centuries, providing the foundation of a new intellectual achievements. In 2006, the citation importing feature was implemented, supporting bibliography managers, bibliographic managers such as reference work, RefMan, EndNote, BibTeX. Google Scholar citation. Google Scholar citations provide a simple way for authors to keep track of citation to their articles. You can check who is citing our publication, graph citations over time, and compute several citation metrics. You can also make your profile public so that it may appear in Google Scholar results when people search for your name. You can say, if I'm seeing my photo in a Google citation and all my papers in a Google Scholar, I'm a little bit astonished how they are collecting it. It is a little bit proud for me to show to so many persons that I got a H index of 10. Even if you look into that, unfortunately, you may not be knowing that your papers have been referred and your H index is more. You can proudly say that your H index is this. Okay. Suppose at the time of evaluating your performance by the authorities, they said that your H index is this, but you may be having H index more. You can adjudicate that your paper is, your H index is this. You can have a proof for this. Google Scholar citation, best of all, it is quick to set up and simple to maintain. Even if you have written hundreds of articles, and even if your name is shared by several different scholars, you can add a group of related articles, not just one article at a time. And your citation metrics are computed and updated automatically. Google Scholar finds a new citation to your work on the web. You can choose to have your list of articles updated automatically, or review the updates yourself, or to manually update your article at a time. With this, I'm concluding my discussion. Of course, I want to share one more. The features of the Google Scholar. Search all scholarly literature from one convenient place. Sitting on your desktop, clicking on a mouse, you can find all your literature, scholarly literatures. Not only the cited, you can now use for getting a new articles on the same thing. Explore related works, citations, author, and publications. Locate the complete document through your library on the web. Keep up with the recent developments in any area of research. Check who is citing your publication. Create a public author profile. These are the features that are available. Thank you for the opportunity. And how the documents are ranked, I can screen that one. How to sign up is also shown. Already I described that as sign up. You can add your photos and other things. Thank you very much. Thanks to the organizers and also the supporting Miles Education as well as the Wiley publishers for making this program, little bit successful. Thank you very much for making successful, for making my presentation. Since we know one thing, that is all the things have a limitations. Internet Explorer, all these things, all this overcome by this Miles Education. So the slogan, lead, excel, and serve. Really great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any questions? Any questions?
First of all, sir, thank you so much for taking out time. We appreciate the knowledge what you have shared is really, really informative, sir. So thank you so much about it. Harish, I hope my audio is clear.
Yes, Mike, please go ahead.
All right, thank you, Harish. So what we are going to do is, I'm sure most of you have a lot of questions to be asked to sir. So quickly, we have time. So quickly, what we can do is we can take a few questions if anybody has any questions from the attendees group. So all you have to do is you just need to raise your hand, not physically. There's a raise hand button on the screen. If you raise your hand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute you, and you need to unmute yourself from your side and ask the question to sir. I hope it is very clear. The instructions is very clear. Raise your hand. I am going to unmute you. I'm going to call your name, and then you can ask the question to sir. Sir, I hope you can hear me, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. But now,
Yes. So
attendees, there is no icon for providing that. Is there any icon for
it is yes, sir. I have it. I'm asking. I'm just going step by step, sir. All right, sir.
Oh, okay, okay.
So Sujata, I have unmuted yourself. You need to unmute yourself and ask the question to sir. Sujata Subramanian. Another one request is if you do not have any questions, please do not raise your hand because we see many have attended the webinar, so we want to give chance to everybody. I'll move on. Dr. Vinita K, if you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask the question to sir. Dr. Vinita K.
Sir, one request before asking the question, let them ask to introduce themselves.
Absolutely. I'll tell them, sir. Swati Kalwara, if you have a question, please unmute yourself, introduce yourself. I'm sorry, Swati, you're breaking, we can't hear you. Swati, you need to come near the mic and talk. We are not able to hear you. Swati, if you have a question, you need to, I would request you to come near the mic and ask your question. All right, let's move on. Utri Rapati C. Utri Rapati C.
Yes, sir. I'm there. Can I ask you a question?
You need to talk louder. We can't hear you.
Yes, yes, sir. Can I? It is yes, yes. Now it is okay.
A little more louder, please. Because sir has to listen to you.
Yes, sir. Can I ask now?
Yeah, please go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, yes.
Sir, thank you very much for your presentation. Actually, I have a question. Sir, it is the Google Scholar is given, sir, for preparing a new literature survey. Google Scholar is enough to collect all the new journals from the Google Scholar. From there, we can develop. It is okay, sir. Google Scholar is it is enough for that preparing literature survey.
Now, Google Scholar, it will enable you to identify what are the papers that you have published. And it has coverage of the more, as I told you, it may be have a limitation. It may not be covering all the articles. You can find all your articles there. You have to check mark your articles, and other articles you have to check out and remove that one. Then automatically it calculates everything. Okay, Google Scholar is normally used.
Sir, can you suggest one more thing? Sir, can you suggest one more thing? How if we prepare a review paper, what way we can start? Can you suggest me, sir?
Pardon?
If we prepare a review paper for a particular topic, what way we can start and how structure the review paper? Can you give any suggestion?
The review papers also referred. If you are publishing it, the review papers also have an impact. For example, if you are, you can find the current science as the review papers. That review papers also get references. Okay. Try to publish the papers in a reputed journal. You will get impact naturally. You can also find the review papers in a Google Scholar too. Clear? Clear?
Yes, so we
Let us
can
move
move
on
on,
to
sir.
another question. Yes.
Dr. A. Vinita, you need to just introduce yourself and ask the question, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, myself, Dr. A. Vanita, working in Anchi University. Sir, my doubt is about I have citations in my for my papers, but few papers which is being cited is not being included in Google Scholar. When I come back to that Google page and when I check with that, it is showing as many papers has been cited. It is not included in Google Scholar. What will be the problem, sir?
You can include that paper in the Google Scholar.
Actually, I have included my all the papers in Google Scholar. Those papers is not being shown in Google Scholar citation, but it is showing outside that which were being cited.
You can have you included in my profile?
Sir?
You press the my profile as soon as you
Having
are
my
providing your author
sir,
name.
I'm having my profile and I have included all my papers whenever it is being published. But the citations which is not being included in Google Scholar. What will be the problem, sir?
Might not been covered by the Google Scholar. Or, naturally, they will cover all those things also. Okay.
I have taken those papers which were being cited, sir. I'm having the papers of more than 15, but those 15 papers is not being there in the Google Scholar.
Google Scholar. Okay.
Yes,
I have to check and you send a mail. My mail ID is given. I will look into that and afterwards I will forward the methodology. I think in the beginning of the screen you can have you have seen my email ID. Anyway, I am repeating it. gopallong@gmail.com.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Dr. A. Anand, if you have a question, unmute yourself and ask the question to someone. Dr. A. Anand. This is for the information. We have a chat option also available. If anybody has any questions, you can just put a message on the chat. I would be able to read that and ask the question to sir. Let's move on. Dr. R. Sundarai. Dr. R. Sundarai Ranganathan. Dr. Kalpasaran.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead with your question, please.
Sir. Hello.
Yes,
hello.
sir. We can hear you. Please ask your question.
Hello.
Hello. So we can hear you. Please can you ask your question?
Sir, I am Dr. R. Gopalakrishnan, assistant professor in Wales University, Chennai. I was published a few papers in Scopus Index journal. But only 2 papers visible in the Scopus page, sir. The remaining papers, how we can visible in the Scopus pages or how we can add it in the Scopus pages. Please guide me.
There is a facility for adding that. Check that one. Scopus, if the article is published in Scopus, naturally Google Scholar gets that to those articles. Okay.
We can add it in the Scholar page.
Yeah, you can add that one. You can add that one. That is a facility. You can add that one. If you are publishing an article on Scopus Index, Google Scholar automatically consider that. Taken into account.
Okay, sir.
Hello?
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Sir, Google Scholar only or any other?
Sir, there is a question which has come up So there is a question which has come up on the chat box. How do we avoid from others taking credit of your work? This question is asked by Dr. Judy Grace Andrew. I repeat the question, sir. How do we avoid from others taking credit of your work?
No, that is taken care of by the Act, IP Act and other Proprietary Act, IPR and other things. But naturally, the academic environment, others getting the credit, they won't get credit of others. They will at least give a amount of crediting. That is either it may be a joint author or they might have been acknowledged at least in acknowledgement paper, acknowledgement part of the paper. Okay, naturally, even if you are contributing a small amount, they will include as a joint author. So credibility, please check that one. What is the reason for that?
Okay.
Check
So
that
there's
one,
another
please,
question asked by. Thank you for answering that question, sir. There's another question from Jaya Kumar P. Whether Google Scholar is paid service, is there any specific publications which will be included?
Google Scholar is not paid service, it is free. Even if you are using a Google, you can type a Google Scholar, automatically you type your name as I shown in the screen. It goes to that a number of articles published by under name. If you select your My Profile, you have to have it will ask for the email ID. You have to provide email ID. I think my knowledge may be limited. The Google Scholar considers Gmail alone. I think so. I don't know exactly. And moreover, the thing is, while doing your profile, it will ask for the email ID of organization based. If your email ID is provided by the organization, that alone is taken into account. Even my mail ID is not considered by Google. That ID will be identified for retrieving the document too, individualizing your document. For example, if I am having an email ID of gopal.mit. something, it will be accepted. Automatically, it may be including it. The reason for not covering the journal article, as far as my knowledge goes, means the article, the email ID provided in the author affiliation may be different than that of what is provided in the Google Scholar. Ask them to check that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, this question is from Aparna R. Sometimes few of my papers are added in other authors. Same name of mine. Page in social research sites like Google Scholar.
I know the thing is Google Scholar shows all the article. If that person has to indicate that this article is not mine by ticking the checkbox and has to remove that one. There will be a button at the bottom to remove that one. If it is removed, your H-index is automatically taken care of. So many of us, what we are doing is, as soon as the articles are seen, we are overjoyed and we are not identifying the articles that are not available, asked to remove that one. That maybe on the 10th part, 10th screen, 10th screen or 7th screen or whatever. You have to go through each and every article. If any of the article is not pertaining to that particular author, they have to check that box and remove that article from the shown list. Next time it won't show that list, that article again. Okay. Therefore, please check that one. That may be a reason for. Okay.
Thank you, sir. This question is from Ravi Chandra. This question is from Ravi Chandra. Couple of my papers published are not included in Google Scholar. Is there any limitation for this?
There is not like that. There is no limitation. The only thing that what I told you is earlier that already we have discussed in the previous question that maybe the mail ID different in the affiliation part, or there may be some reason. They can upload that one automatically. It will show that one. Moreover, for academic purpose, this is not only the thing that we are looking into. ResearchGate is another one that will provide that one. There are other things too available.
Thank you, sir.
Is it
Thank you so
clear?
much.
Okay.
So there's a question
Any
asked
questions?
by T. Yeah, there's a question asked by T. Sutta. The question is there any ideal impact factor that we can look for in a case of research paper in commerce and management?
No, even in this, I could not. Would you please kindly repeat the question?
Yeah, I'll repeat the question, sir. Is there an ideal impact factor that we can look for in case of research papers in commerce and management? Can the individual author include paper in Google Scholar, or should it be done by journal?
No, in the only published articles alone taken into account. So the published journals, which has high impact factor, automatically included. If at all it is not included in a Google Scholar, you can include that one. That's the thing.
Okay, thank you.
So if you are preparing a research paper, if you publish on an impact factor journals, automatically is included in Google Scholar. How to identify the impact factor journals? One of the slides I have shown the URL while comparing the cancer CA journal under the first top highly impact journal. That you can find all the journals. Even in a Google, if you say that impact factor for commerce journals, it will list out all the things. Check that one.
Thank you. There is a question from Dr. Salim Desai. Dr. Salim Desai, you need to unmute yourself to ask your question.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead and ask your question, Salim.
Very nice presentation, sir. I have one
you.
question. All these H index impact factor they are considering for the patenting if you apply for patenting?
No, patents published is also concerned under H index. They are looking for that H index. Already some research works have also been carried out. The information sharing of patents. Okay, the patents also has an impact. It is also included. Okay. ResearchGate provides a patenting also.
Yeah, I think that answers the question, sir. Thank you. So this question is from Dr. Hemadata Gopisetti. If a paper is published prior to 2015 and not seen in Google Scholar, can we republish in journal or conference which is published in Scholar, sir, in Google Scholar? I'll repeat the question, sir.
Yeah, the thing is, it is not possible to publish the paper again. It is not included means the reason may be many. The journal, that article is if it is repeated, it is considered as a duplication of articles. Okay. Therefore, the same article that even if it is not appear in Google Scholar, you can include it, or also find out the reason for not inclusion, and that it is not necessary to publish that. There are other citation things, Orchard ID and other things are available. Those things are the ResearchGate, academia. There are so many things available. Please check all these things. Afterwards, find out the feasibility of that.
All right.
Academia is there, ResearchGate is there.
Thank you, sir, for answering that. This question is from Dr. Uma. A nice presentation. She's complimenting you. A very nice presentation. What is an article to be presented in Scopus Index Journal is expensive? I repeat, what is an article to be presented in Scopus Index?
What's the article presented?
In Scopus Index. Yeah.
If you want to get, there are so many journals. They indicate that our journal is covered under Scopus Index, Scopus Index. You can publish those things in an article. Those articles on that journals. So the journal that you are selecting it depend upon the individual. Okay, their domain or a cross discipline or anything else. That depends upon. You can find many other journals which are included in the Scopus index of less paid journals, less cost journals too. Open access journals also sometimes included in the thing. Therefore, they can publish in open access journals.
All right.
Is it clear?
Doctor, yes, sir. Dr. K. Manikandan, if you have a question, please unmute yourself. Dr. K. Manikandan. There's another question from Saintanil Kumar. The question is, paper published in UGC approved journals and Scopus index journals, which one has universally accepted and most valued?
And publications that are published in a UGC list comes under Scopus. It also included in Google Scholar. Okay, so weightage is not matters. Journals that are journal name sometimes matters. If I am publishing a paper in IEEE, I can say it is I published a paper in IEEE. If I am publishing in ACM, I can say I am publishing in ACM. Okay. If I am publishing an article in Current Science, I can proudly say that my article appeared in Current Science. What we feel is we are saying that these are the journals which are very popular among the users and is also accepted. Is it clear?
All right. Thank you, sir. Dr. C. Murthy Lakshmi, if you have a question, please unmute yourself. Dr. C. Murthy. This question is from K. Anuradha. As a basis research scholar, how to add more papers in high-rated journals like Elsevier?
High-rated?
It's Elsevier.
Elsevier, and you know,
Sorry, sir.
If the publications are, if the articles are sent to those publishers, they will provide the review and other things. If they are, they find that if the articles are of standard, they will publish it naturally. Not necessary to go for how to publish in elsewhere or nothing else. You write the article, post it in elsewhere journals. Naturally, they will find out whether it is. Or sometimes the publisher also suggests, please publish this article in another journal. There is another one, Journal Finder, which will enable you to identify the journal for publishing your paper. Clear?
Right. Let's move on, sir.
Go to the journal.
Yes, sir.
Go to the journal finder, provide your research area. It will list out what are the journals that are, and you can publish on that. You can have a publisher size also that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay.
So this question is from Rachel King. How to go about with publishing papers when you're neither a scholar nor connected to any institutions? I have recently completed my PhD and I'm unemployed.
The publishing the paper is not necessary that you must be employed or anything else. Even homemakers, they can publish the papers. The content is matters. The designation and the organization does not arise us. Okay, your content, your research, the research output. What is your findings? That matters. Therefore, person, whether they are in a employed or unemployed, they can also publish the papers. It is content. It is based only on content, not on affiliation or anything else. Affiliation is to identify the author. Clear?
Yes, sir. Moving on, sir. The next question is from Dr. Vinita K. She asked you, does the first author and corresponding author has the same weightage?
In the case of H index, the same weightage. That's why to overcome this, as I told you, we developed a indexing method in which we are giving a weightage for each author. If it is a first author, it will have some weightage. If it is a fifth author, it will have some weightage, less weightage. Whereas H index, all the authors are considered equal. All the authors get one citation. If a paper is written by 8 authors, or that paper has been cited by somebody, all the 8 persons get one citation. It's based on the citation. Whereas in this limitation to overcome that richness index, rich factor index, that they're taking into account the author position too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. This question is from Dr. S Manikandan. My article was published in Scopus Index Journal in December 2019, but now it is removed from Scopus. And can it be claimed as Scopus Index using data of issue?
No, they might have been published peer review, the pre-review paper. They have to check whether it is exactly published. If it is published, they might have been given the volume number, issue number, everything. Okay, they got the right of removing the paper later date 2. Any publisher can remove the paper later date 2, seeing that the paper has a less quality. We can see the some number of papers appeared in the database. After sometimes they might have been removed. They will say the reason too. What is the reason for removing that paper? Sometimes maybe if the volume number, issue number is given, it is naturally it is a published one. They can quote that one.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. This question is from Abhirami Wali, and right. And what she's asking you the question is, thank you very much, sir, for highly informative lecture. Sir, kindly let us know which is worth, whether publishing a paper in open access or private access.
They can publish open access well. Today, open access is the Scopus includes open access journals. There also you can find a H index, not a Google Scholar alone. Scopus include open access journals too. If they can publish any open access, they can find the H index for that too. If you go to Scopus, they can find that also. I'm giving Google Scholar as a one source for identifying the H index, whereas in the case of Scopus also you can find a H index. There also it shows a graph and other thing. Provided you have to identify these are the papers that you was. It will allow you to include the co-authors and also other things also. Okay. Please check with the Scopus.
This question is from T. Nancy Dora. The question is, I have published my paper in UGC list of journals, but now that journal is removed from the UGC list. Now, can I consider that paper is published in UGC list of journals?
The publication year matters. During that publication year, if it is in a UGC list, you can quote that this article is published in this journal during the list that has been provided in such and such. You have to get the proof for that. They are giving weightage for the two, provided they show that this is the thing. Every time they are changing that. Okay. If my article is published in 2011, at that time it is in a UGC list, I can say that while publishing this journal is in a UGC list, therefore I have published and it is listed in UGC. That proof also I have to provide that. Naturally, they will count that too.
Okay. So this question is from Ulganathan Subramaniam. The question is, I have a doubt about the plagiarism software. I submitted a paper, checked with anti-plagiarism and sent to reputed journal, but they replied that plagiarism percentage was very high.
That even though it is out of purview, they asked to check the person who have checked the plagiarism. The draft they might have been provided, that will be uploaded on that. Afterwards, if I'm providing my article, it shows that 100% plagiarism. So that they have to check that one. Okay. The plagiarism check is out of purview of our discussion. Even though that the checking method may have some kind of an error.
This question is from Shanti M. She asked, can I include the count of my paper published in IJPAM in 2018-19 and which got removed recently from UGC list, UGC care list for writing my thesis?
Yeah, you can include that one. You can include. You have to show the while publishing it, the journal is in the UGC care list. You have to show the authenticity for that. That's the only thing. If I'm writing an article and publish, after 3 years, if they are removing it, we can't do anything. The reason is that I show that this journal article is published 3 years back. At that time, this list in the list it is available. That is, we can show that too.
So this question is asked. Yes, sir. It is clear, sir. It is clear, sir. All your questions are clear, sir.
Okay. Any more questions?
Right. Yes, sir. There are a lot of questions. Sir. Do you have time, sir?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions which are coming in, sir. So I wanted to take your permission.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, and I'll move on, sir.
Okay.
I'll move on, sir. The next question. Dr. Saranya is asking this question. So what Dr. Saranya is saying is that in some conference, the organizers published the paper in UGC and Scopus. Whatever presented in conference is that giving value in our resume?
Please pardon me once again.
Yeah, so I'll repeat the
I'm
question,
not
sir.
getting
Yeah. Saranya, what she's asking is, in some conference, the organizers published the papers in UGC and Scopus. Whatever presented in conference, is that giving value in a resume?
Yeah, it has a value. It has a rich value. A conference paper that is published later date in a journal, it is a rich value. So they can include both the conference as well as the journal name, journal article too. So they may be getting 2 credits for that.
Okay, thank you, sir. There's another question. Supraja H is asking. I recently attended a workshop which stated that since Google Scholar is just an academic search engine, any journal which claims that it is indexed on Google Scholar is lying about its believability. Your opinion on this statement?
Please repeat the last part of the question.
Yeah, I'll repeat it one more time slowly, sir. So this person is asking for your opinion, and what she's saying is she has recently attended a workshop which stated that since Google Scholar is just an academic search engine, any journal which claims that it is indexed on Google Scholar is lying about its believability.
I think it's a really first time I'm hearing like this. This is the one that is measured as a unit of measure for evaluating things. Okay, Google Scholar. They are including the journals that are having an impact factor. You can find scientometric articles are included, means the scientometric is not a doubtful thing. Springer journals, other journals that are, the publication is published in impact journals, it has a weightage. Google Scholar index is also taken into account, meritorious. Is that for everything, for not only for academic. Is
All
it
right.
clear?
I'll move on, sir. I'll move on to the next question. This question has been asked by Praveen Zeenat Anwar. Will a review paper be considered for PhD award by Madras University as the criteria is to publish 2 papers?
Yes. Yes. The research scholar has to publish 2 papers.
Yeah.
And they are looking for careless journal. Yes, move on to next question.
This question has been asked by Gangana Design. First, I thank you for the informative presentation, sir. I need to know, can we publish an article from the thesis chapter which we are going to submit before awarding the degree or viva presentation?
Yeah, you can publish it journals. If you are publishing journal, it gets the authenticity that your thesis is before submitting the thesis, if the same concept is published by somebody else, your thesis is considered as a plagiarism. Therefore, best thing is before submitting the thesis, you can publish as many papers on your name along with the gate. The paper will be considered as authenticity for the thesis. Okay, they can't say that's a plagiarism or anything else. Your name must be there and others' name. Please avoid using others' name. I'm sorry for saying this. Yours and your gate name is included before publication. That papers are counted for. Naturally, you have to publish minimum 2 papers for submitting the thesis in any part of the universities. There's a mandatory that they brought out now. Therefore, you can publish the paper before submitting the things.
This question is from Malti, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much for a very informative session. I am a research scholar. I published my paper in Scopus Index Journal from the homepage of Scopus only. But now Scopus is telling that journal is not coming under Scopus. So is any possibility of the journal coming on Scopus homepage, sir, without the Scopus index? Please clarify.
No, if you go to the Scopus site, you can find what are the journals under each domain. You can see that when you can verify what are the journals listed under Scopus. All the subjects, it provides a list. You can search whether this journal is available on Scopus Index or anything else. Check that one. You can see the site, go to the Scopus site, find out what are the journals they are publishing it.
This question is from Dr. Sunita. This question is from Dr. Sunita. Sir, please explain the difference between article and paper.
Pardon? Article?
Article and paper. Difference between article and paper.
It's very difficult to demarcate. The papers we are considering both are same. If it is a research oriented, we are considering as an article. If it is a theory oriented, we used to consider as a paper. The data is matters. What I am presented today, if I am publishing it, is a paper, not an article. I can't say it is an article since it does not contain any data. I'm not analyzing any data. As far as my knowledge goes, I am classifying that article must have some empirical data or some kind of a experimental data and provide that one. If it is not any data, I can consider that I am presuming that it is a paper.
All right.
Clear?
Thank you so much, sir, for answering. Yes, sir. I think because of the time limitation, sir, there are many questions which are coming in.
If there are any questions, they can send to my mail. I will answer right on.
What we can do is, sir, we can give your email ID, and so that you can.
Yeah, they can send the mail to me. I will try to answer.
Yeah, can you just please, for the benefit of everybody, can you just repeat your email ID? Sir, on your screen, you can take your email ID.
Whether I can
Yes.
show my PPT once again in the first pass?
Again, I would request every attendee. Yes, sir. If you can just show us your screen, Harish, if you can guide sir, let everybody copy the email ID of sir, so that everybody can send the question to sir. Harish.
Yeah. I made him the presenter. Sir, can you just click on my request?
Yes. Now it is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My screen is visible. There
Yes,
you
sir.
can
Your
find
screen is
yes.
Clear.
So what I've done is, sir, I have copied your email ID. All the attendees who have been asking questions on your chat box, I have shared the email ID of sir. I have shared the email ID of Gopal sir. So on your chat box, you can see his email ID. I would request everybody, if anybody has question, please share it to sir. Sir will answer your questions. Please understand, we have hundreds of questions coming in, but sir sir do not have much time to answer all of your questions because this webinar was scheduled for 2 hours only. What we will do right now is that we want to quick. Harish, can you just share it to me? Harish, can you change the presenter, please?
Yes, Mike. Have you got it?
I got it. So what I'm going to do, it's a small request. We wanted to do a poll over here just to understand and get your feedback in terms of how did you like the presentation, your overall experience. So what is going to happen is I'm going to ask you 4 questions right away, which will populate on your screen. I would request everybody to just take a second to answer that question. It's my humble request. This is only for the feedback for us to improve and do much better in our next webinar. So the first question is there on your screen. I'll just also let you know what is the question. So the question here is, how would you rate the organization of the webinar? Was it excellent, very good, or good? Thank you everybody for answering my first poll question, and it is really encouraging to see a very good response, wherein 70% of them said excellent, 28% of them said very good, and 2% said good. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. Let me move on to the second question. The second question which I wanted to ask you here is that, how would you rate the level and amount of information provided today in this webinar? I repeat, how would you rate the level and amount of information provided in this webinar? Uh, thank you again, everybody, for sharing your view. And again, to the entire Etraj management and also to Sir, this result was really motivating because 71% of them feel it's excellent, the kind of information which has been provided. 28% of them says very good. So we respect your feedback. Thank you so much for sharing this well motivated feedback. Let me quickly move on to my next question. So this is going to be my third question. So the question is, how relevant was the theme of the webinar? Let me also share you the results of the third question. So the poll results says that 79% liked the theme of the webinar, whereas 19% said it is very good and 2% said it is good. So thank you again for sharing your poll. Let me ask you the one last question. This question is, how was the resource person present? How was the resource person's presentation? Honestly, to be, I was also part of this 2 hours webinar, and I was listening to this webinar. I also felt that Sir was extremely well, and even the poll results are really great. And I wanted to share that to you, wherein 83% of them said that Sir was extremely well in presenting the topic, whereas 16% of them said very good. So thank you everybody for sharing your poll result, for sharing your opinion. We value your opinion. We will make sure that management will come up with these kind of webinars in the near future. Harish, I would request you now to please unmute Saranya ma'am so that ma'am can take it up further before the vote of thanks. Harish?
Yes. Saranya ma'am, please unmute yourself. Saranya ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Saranya ma'am, you need to unmute yourself, ma'am.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I am Dr. Saranya from
Go
Commerce Department of College. Yeah. My heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Sir for very spontaneously accepting to chair this webinar and sharing his wealth of knowledge on the much heard of but much unknown aspects of impact factor, H-index and Google Scholar. Thank you so much, sir. I would now request Gopalakrishnan to take over for the formal vote of thanks.
Would you please, before that, I would like to share my views. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I like to share I must be thankful to your college organizers, Miles Education, Wiley, for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Harish, do I start? Harish?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes.
Harish, can
Yes,
I start?
please.
Yeah. No duty is more important
Yes,
than that of returning. Yeah. No duty is more important than that of returning thanks. Good afternoon. On behalf of myself, Gopalakrishnan, and the Department of Commerce, Ethraj College for Women, we would like to sincerely thank our speaker, Dr. S Gopalakrishnan, research consultant, for joining us today for this national webinar on the topic, Impact Factor, H-Index, Google Scholar. I wish to thank our management and the principal, Dr. S Kodai, who have always been very supportive and encouraging in all our endeavors. I express heartfelt thanks to Dr. Panjabi Mala Devidas, Head Department of Commerce at Raj College for Women, and the convener of this webinar, and Dr. A.S. Sharanya, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce, and the organizing secretary of this webinar, for arranging this session, keeping in mind a very relevant topic that would benefit one and all who are in their pursuit towards doing good research. Thank you to our wonderful attendees for your participation this morning. We greatly appreciate your patience and support as we hope that this webinar serves you well and brings to light all of the amazing opportunities which are still within your reach, even in a time of uncertainty. We would like to profoundly thank our collaborators, Miles Education and Wiley Publications, for assisting us in making this event possible. Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks a lot, Harish. Dr. S Gopalakrishnan has showcased today how research and one's willingness to learn should and can be relentless. Our scholars, especially those who are in the beginning stages of their academic careers, would have been greatly influenced by your wisdom and presentation. Their minds would now be exercised to question, explore, and act on your new ideas, perspectives, and concepts. This webinar also served a tremendous purpose to our faculty and research guides. As educators, the ability to provide students with a fresh and exciting perspective is invaluable as we are shaping them to be the leaders of tomorrow. Today's session has not only served the purpose of teaching our researchers, faculty, and students, but as a reminder of the hope that we will persevere against all odds. That the ability to access academia through the comfort of our own homes is a brand new concept that many are now being exposed to, but one that has been essential in getting through difficult times like the current situation. Staying motivated and productive is not an easy task, especially when the life we know and are comfortable within is in question. But with community support from individuals like Dr. S Gopalakrishnan, Miles Education, Wiley Publications, students and faculty, there is light at the end of the tunnel to make use of this time we have for ourselves to practice the essential skills of self-direction and reflection. To conclude, I would like to leave you with this quote. Easily mistaken, it is not about love for adversity. It is about knowing the strength and faith so great that adversity in all its adverse manifestations hardly even exists. By Chris Jammy. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Sir, it's just one request, sir. Can you share your first screen, sir? Because people wanted to make a note of your email ID. I would request you, Gopal, sir, if you can just share your first screen.
Yeah,
Many of them have questions. Yeah, shift F5, sir. Make it slideshow, sir.
Now it is visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible. I would request every attendee to make a note of sir's email ID. And if anybody has any questions, please happy to reach out to sir. Sir would be in a position to answer all your questions. All right, thank you everybody. Again, we would like to thank everybody for joining this webinar. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you, the Department of Raj College. We all can sign off from this webinar.